We can hear music communicating to us, but what happens if the message is misinterpreted? Fans of some of the greatest songs in history have been singing along to them for years without understanding they were misinterpreting the lyrics. These songs have generated much controversy due to their varied and sometimes contradictory interpretations. Are you confident that's how you've been singing? Come along as we unveil the fascinating backstories of these classic songs and unearth the truth behind the most misinterpreted song lyrics ever. The One I Love, REM. This one is another song that was never meant to be a love song. Lead singer Michael Stipe claims the song was almost unrecorded because the group thought it was too brutal, violent, and awful. The lyrics aren't deceptive, even though the title might be. Speaking of your partner as a simple prop to occupy my time is not a romantic opening line. Alive, Pearl Jam. When singer Eddie Vedder screams, "Yeah, yeah, oh, I'm still alive," Pearl Jam's 1991 song may initially seem like an anthem of endurance, but a closer listen shows something entirely different. The song is really about Vedder discovering as a teenager that his biological father has passed away and that the guy he's assumed to be his father was his stepfather. He's still coping with the loss of his father and dealing with love. All he knows is that he's still alive. Vedder reportedly told Rolling Stone, "That's totally out of burden." Good Riddance, or Time of Your Life by Green Day. The inclusion of Green Day's acoustic ballad in the Seinfeld finale helped propel the song into a big crossover smash in 1998. With its supposed melancholic lyrics about time passing, the song has become a prom, graduation, and wedding classic. Nevertheless, those contented couples need to have closely examined the song's title or lyrics. The song's lyrics are an angry condemnation of a lover who would one day regret leaving the time of her life, not a heartfelt farewell. Closing Time, Semisonic. Many bars and clubs play Semisonic's Closing Time as their last evening song, which has become an anthem for last calls worldwide. The lyrics of the song, however, don't mention bars. Instead, singer Dan Wilson originally wrote them about his fiance's pregnancy, but the band said they knew early on that listeners would perceive the song as about bars. In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins. Many people consider this Phil Collins song among the darkest pop hits ever. The song, according to urban legend, is about a man who watches another man drown and does nothing to save him. Collins is said to have witnessed the entire incident. After writing the song, the singer sang it before the man and asked him to go to a show. A line from Eminem's hit song Stan, you know the song by Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, about that guy that could have saved that other guy from drowning but didn't, then Phil saw it all, then at a show he found him? Mentioned the story, which went viral in the early days of the internet. But the story is a complete fabrication. Collins claims the song is more of a stream of mind about his sentiments following his divorce than any particular experience. American Girl, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. One of the most well-known songs by the late great Tom Petty is American Girl. Jangling 1960s guitars and late 1970s punk and new wave influences combined to create a timeless song that brought Petty's concerts to a close just before his tragic death. Though the song is revered as a rock classic, its words have frequently been misinterpreted. The song was long believed to be about a girl who threw herself from a residential tower at Petty's alma mater, the University of Florida in Gainesville, Florida. Petty, however, flatly refuted the narrative in his 2005 book, Conversations with Tom Petty, landmark in Florida. It's grown into a significant urban legend. Simply said, that's untrue. That's unrelated to the song. However, the tale is widely circulated. They truly know everything there is to know. I've even read about the story in magazine articles. Is it accurate or inaccurate? The genuine idea for the song, he said in the same book, came from his time spent living in California. They could have just called me and discovered it wasn't true. I was residing in an apartment close to the highway, and the vehicles would pass, close to Leon Russell's residence in Encino. and I recall thinking that it sounded to me like the ocean. My ocean was that, the Malibu I own. It was simply the cars passing by when I heard the waves crashing. I believe that influenced the lyrics. Every Breath You Take by The Police. One of the most popular singles of the 1980s, Every Breath You Take by The Police, has likely been the first dance at hundreds of weddings since then. But the song isn't really about love at all. Instead, a sinister tale of obsession and stalking is told in the lyrics. "Oh, we love that song. It was the main song played at our wedding," a couple told Sting about the tune. He also stated, "I think the song is very sinister and ugly, and people have misinterpreted it as a gentle little love song when it's quite the opposite. I thought, well, good luck," he added. Blackbird by the Beatles. One of the most hotly contested songs from the Beatles' illustrious discography is Blackbird. The song, composed mainly by Paul McCartney, initially seems like a standard love ballad. Nonetheless, McCartney has stated on multiple occasions over the years that the song's lyrics genuinely allude to the American civil rights movement that was taking place at the time. Semi-Charmed Life, Third Eye Blind. The pop sound and catchy chorus of Doot 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 from Third Eye Blind's 1997 hit song are what people remember most about it. However, the song's dark underside is hidden beneath that pop sound. According to lead singer and songwriter Stephen Jenkins, the song's theme is addiction. He described the song's music as bright and shiny on the surface, and then it pulls you down into its lockjawed mess. It's about a time in my life when all my friends just sort of tapped out on speed. The music I composed for it isn't meant to be glitzy and bright just for the sake of glitz and bright. Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA is arguably the most well-known example, misinterpreted for over 30 years. The narrative of a young man's experiences getting drafted, serving in the Vietnam War, and returning home with psychological wounds is depicted in the song's scathing lyrics. But the song's vivid musical arrangement obscured the irony of its catchy Born in the USA lyric, leaving many to think the song was just a jingoistic fist-in-the-air anthem. Springsteen, who took particular offense at the song being mentioned by then-President Ronald Reagan, made multiple attempts in interviews to elucidate the song's message before releasing an acoustic version that removed the song's ostentatious aspects. Total Eclipse of the Heart, Bonnie Tyler. One of the greatest power ballads ever to deserve the title is Total Eclipse of the Heart. It was the lead single from Bonnie Tyler's fifth studio album, Faster Than the Speed of Night, and it dominated the charts for the entire year. Many people are unaware, nonetheless, that Total Eclipse of the Heart was originally written as a vampire love ballad. Producer Jim Steinman wrote the tune just for Tyler after she turned down his first two tracks. Returning to the novels, Steinman recalled a song he had started composing, Vampires in Love, while working on a musical adaptation of Nosferatu. He revised and completed it, creating one of the all-time great love ballads. If you pay close attention, you can still make out the faint strains of a song about a dark love. Love Song, Sarah Bareilles. You've likely heard the distinctive chords of Sarah Bareilles' breakthrough hit if you've ever listened to the radio in 2007 or passed through a lobby with a free piano. Although it might seem reasonable to assume that the song, Love Song, would be about love, the chorus immediately dispels that idea. The idea that this love ballad was never really about a guy, or a female for that matter, is even more intriguing. After receiving repeated lukewarm responses from her record label to the song she had written, Bareilles created the music out of sheer irritation. Love Song was her way of telling her label, "This is me, take it or leave it." It's perfect that they decided to take it. I started to get insecure about it, and then I got pissed off at myself for caring what anybody thought. London Calling, The Clash. This song was initially about something much more straightforward. Still, it's expanded to take in a broader meaning, including the widely held belief that it's an indictment of British politics and foreign relations. A British newspaper headlined an article in 1979 stating that there was a chance that the Thames River might overflow and flood London if there was a quick worldwide notice. Mick Jones, to use his own words, flipped when he heard this, which is why the song is more about a fear of drowning than politics. Pink Houses, John Mellencamp. Pink Houses was written by John Mellencamp in the early 1980s to critique Reaganomics and the then-dominant conservative greed is good mentality. But because of its upbeat sound and catchy Ain't That America chorus, people frequently mistake the song for a straightforward patriotic song. Conservative political candidates and organizations that have utilized the song have misinterpreted it, resulted in public criticism from Mellencamp, a fiery leftist. Higher by Creed. Creed's Higher, one of their biggest successes from 1999, has since become the band's hallmark song and a symbol of the post-grunge rock movement. The song is actually about neither of the things that it initially appears to be about, a drug-induced high, or, on the other end of the spectrum, Creed's publicized Christianity. Lead singer Scott Stapp claims that the song is essentially about lucid dreaming. Buddy Holly, Weezer. First, although most listeners know this, the song isn't about Buddy Holly. Most of those individuals believe that the song, You Know I'm Yours and I Know You're Mine and That's for All Time, is about a romantic relationship after hearing the lyrics. However, singer Rivers Cuomo reveals a different story. The song is about a specific girl he knew, and it's about his commitment to her and his willingness to stand up for her. It has a solid spiritual quality, not in the slightest romantic. Suppose you pay close attention to the lyrics. In that case, you'll discover that none of them are overtly romantic. People just assume that because Weezer is talking about a lady, which is precisely what the song is about, they are. Always by Bon Jovi. Known for their power ballads like I'll Be There For You and Bed of Roses, Bon Jovi scored one of their biggest hits in 1994 with Always. Maybe because of their reputation as balladers, many overlook the song's darker themes. It's a sick, twisted lyric, Bon Jovi said about the lyrics. Although many people find it sweet and unique, the guy is almost like a stalker. He's a sick individual. Mr. Tambourine Man by Bob Dylan. Many believe that Bob Dylan's iconic 1965 song, Mr. Tambourine Man, was autobiographical about the singer discovering his creative inspiration through drugs. It was later notably performed by the Byrds, but in reality the song pays homage to tour musician Bruce Langhorne, a member of Dylan's band. The song was recorded and performed using a big Turkish frame drum that resembled a tambourine. Hotel California, the Eagles. The line, "This could be heaven" or "this could be hell," is often used to suggest that the song is about purgatory. However, Don Henley said in a 2002 interview that the song is about the dark side of the American dream and excess in America, which we know a lot about. We were all Midwestern kids from middle-class families. Our interpretation of the high life in Los Angeles was Hotel California. Waterfalls by TLC. The widely held belief is that TLC's hit song from 1995, Waterfalls, is about slowing down, being grateful for what you have, and not rushing into anything in life or relationship. That's partially true, at least in the chorus, but it misses the fact that the song is about societal challenges during the mid-1990s, with explicit lyrics referencing HIV and AIDS. Puff the Magic Dragon, Peter, Paul, and Mary. It's evident that Puff the Magic Dragon was about drugs. This is false. The story of Peter, Paul, and Mary's 1963 hit song, which had lyrics based on a poem by band member Peter Yarrow's friend Leonard Lipton, was actually about a young child who played with an imagined dragon named Puff until he was too big for him. Perfect Day, Lou Reed. It's odd that Lou Reed's song Perfect Day, about heroin, has been featured in so many cheery, upbeat commercials for things such as Sony's PlayStation 4 and AT&T cellular service. The song, which is sometimes misinterpreted as being about the strength of love, is actually about the euphoria that comes from consuming drugs. Like a Virgin, Madonna. Although many people may assume that Madonna's song Like a Virgin is a tribute to a young woman experiencing her first sexual experience, a perception that was undoubtedly reinforced by Madonna's multiple performances in the mid-1980s while sporting a wedding gown, the song was written by songwriters Billy Steinberg and Tom Kelly, who expressed how vulnerable Steinberg felt when entering a new relationship. Years later, Steinberg said to the LA Times, "I wasn't just trying to get that racy word virgin in a lyric. I mentioned that although I may not be a virgin per se because I've experienced emotional and romantic abuse like many others, I'm beginning a new relationship. It feels fantastic, healing all the wounds and giving me a sense that I've never experienced before because it's much more profound than anything I've experienced." Harder to Breathe, Maroon 5. It would make sense to assume that the smash single from the album Harder to Breathe was influenced by one of vocalist Adam Levine's ex-girlfriends, given that Maroon 5's chart-topping debut album, Songs About Jane, was practically a concept album about her. Levine claims the band's record label pressured them to write the song. Levine stated, "That song comes solely from wanting to throw something," in an interview dated 2002. The label requested additional tracks, and it was at the 11th hour. It was the final crack. I was just enraged. The label pressured me to record an album, but I'm glad they did. Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. The song Summer of '69 by Canadian singer Bryan Adams and his writing partner Jim Vallance is so potentially nostalgic that one could easily believe it was inspired by their teenage years in 1969. The only issue? In 1969, Adams was just 9 years old. While there are actual references to the writers' lives in the song, Adams claims that the 69 number was explicitly picked to allude to the 69 sexual position. Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana. Since its 1991 release, Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit has been praised as a classic for all generations. The only problem is that nobody, not even Kurt Cobain, understands what it's truly about. The band friend Kathleen Hanna is credited with coming up with the famous title, writing "Kurt Smells Like Teen Spirit" on Kurt Cobain's wall. In Michael Azrad's Nirvana biography, Come As You Are, The Story of Nirvana, Cobain stated that he intended to describe what I felt about my surroundings and my generation and people my age. However, he contradicted himself in the same book, saying the song was making fun of the thought of having a revolution. Drummer and future Foo Fighters leader Dave Grohl has gone on record saying the lyrics have no meaning. Cobain used the phrase while creating the ultimate pop song. Paper Planes by MIA. The 2008 popular song Paper Planes by MIA dispelled the misconception that it was about a drug dealer. Instead, the song was about what it was like to be an immigrant in the United States. "I was thinking about living in Bed-Stuy, waking up every morning. It's such an African neighborhood," she explained. "As I was heading to my local to get patties, it occurred to me that in this day and age, the worst thing someone could say to someone is something like, 'What I want to do is come and get your money.' People don't feel that refugees or immigrants have any kind of cultural contribution to make. All they are is suckling leeches from any source. I created sound effects to accompany my song's line, 'All I want to do is sound of gun shooting and reloading, cash register opening, and take your money.' How you want to interpret it is up to you. I'm confident they'll succeed since money is an obsession in America." Ticket to Ride by the Beatles. Many believe the Beatles' song Ticket to Ride alludes to a young lady taking a train to see her beau. John Lennon, though, claimed that the song meant something very different. He asserted that the song referred to German prostitutes in the 1960s carrying cards bearing a clean bill of health. The Beatles often performed in Hamburg, Germany before they became well-known globally. Slide by the Goo Goo Dolls. Goo Goo Dolls' 1998 album Dizzy Up the Girl featured the hit song Slide, contributing to the band's rise to fame. The frantic song initially sounds like it tells the traditional rock and roll story of young lovers uniting against the outside world, but there was much more to Slide, according to lead singer and songwriter Johnny Resnick during an episode of VH1 Storytellers. The song is actually about these two teenage kids, and the girlfriend gets pregnant, and they're trying to decide whether she should get an abortion or if they should get married, or what should go on, Resnick said in his introduction to the song. One by U2. One, which U2 released in 1991, quickly rose to prominence as one of the band's most significant singles. The song has gained recognition over time as a tribute to unity, whether platonic, brotherly, or romantic. The song was initially created when U2 was disbanded and divided on the direction the band should take. According to Bono in U2's official book, U2, the song's turbulent beginnings, gave a rise to a depressing set of lyrics. There was strength there as well as melancholy, the singer remarked. One is about difference rather than oneness. It's a far more punk rock idea than the old hippie notion of let's all live together. We're all one, but we're not the same is an anti-romantic statement. It serves as a reminder that we're powerless and must carry each other. Whether you like it or not, the only way out of here is if I give you a leg up the wall and you pull me after you. I'm still upset when people interpret the chorus line as got to rather than we get to carry each other. That strikes me as being incredibly unromantic. I've always found it hard to understand why people want to play the song at their weddings because it's a little strange. I'm sure I've met 100 folks who experienced it at their weddings. I ask them, are you crazy? The song's about parting ways. American Woman by the Guess Who. American Woman is primarily a song about sex appeal to current audiences, particularly those more acquainted with Lenny Kravitz's 1999 rendition. Co-writer Randy Bachman clarified that the song's underlying message had more to do with the Vietnam War and politics of the United States at the time than it did with sexuality. Bachman said, "We'd been touring the United States. The year was the late 1960s. There was a time when they attempted to enlist us and send us to Vietnam at the North Dakota border with Canada. When I said, 'American women, stay away from me,' I meant, 'Canadian women, I prefer you.' It was all a happy accident," co-writer Burton Cummings said. "We were back in Canada, playing in the safety of Canada, where the dance is full of draft dodgers who've all left the States." Just Like Heaven by The Cure. Lead singer Robert Smith of The Cure claims that although the song Just Like Heaven seems like a standard love song, the words are a little more intricate. While Smith has acknowledged that on another level it's about a seduction trick, from much later in my life, he stated that the song is about hyperventilating, kissing, and fainting to the floor, and that some of the lyrics are based on his early memories of learning magic tricks. Imagine by John Lennon. Though it's possible to interpret John Lennon's iconic ballad Imagine as a straightforward appeal for global peace, the former Beatle, as well as his wife Yoko Ono, who Lennon later acknowledged contributed far more to the song than the solo credit suggests, were addressing more particular issues rather than a general call for peace. Lennon offered his thoughts in a 1980 interview with Playboy regarding the song's reference to religion. The idea of positive prayer, if you can envision a world of peace, devoid of religious denominations, not of religion per se, but of this notion that your God is greater than mine, then it can come to pass. The World Church once asked me if we could simply alter the lyrics to Imagine to read, "Imagine one religion." That proved to me that they had no comprehension whatsoever. In a different interview with NME, Lennon stated, "Imagine that there was no more religion, no more country, no more politics," which is virtually the Communist Manifesto. Even though I'm not particularly a communist, I do not belong to any movement. There are no real communist states in the world. You must realize that. It would defeat the whole purpose of the song. The whole idea, the socialism I'm talking about, isn't like some stupid Chinese or Russian version of it. That could work for them. We ought to enjoy a pleasant form of British socialism. Cherry Bomb by the Runaways. The tale of this song's origin is misinterpreted. Even though the song's lyrics aren't precisely that way, The Runaways' Cherry Bomb was not intended to be a successful song, and the band did not create their entire discography around it, despite being an all-time great rock song and Hall of Famer Joan Jett's biggest hit. The band's manager, Kim Fowley, claims the song was created in about 5 minutes. As per Fowley's account, Jett and he composed the song just for Cherry Curry's audition, as the remaining members of the Runaways were unaware of the song Curry desired to perform. Feel It Still, Portugal, the Man. Portugal, a California band, is playing, although the famous song The Man from 2017 seems to be a tribute to the singer John Gorley's little daughter at first. It was composed from a far more political and less personal position. Gorley clarified in a 2017 interview, "It's another one of those lyrics that just kinda seeps in. The current discourse about the construction of walls at our borders and the Berlin Wall closely resembles the childhood conception of these people being divided by walls. Why is that necessary?" Royals by Lorde. Lorde's 2013 hit song Royals seems to allude to either American celeb royalty, such as the Kardashian family, or real-life royalty, such as the British royal family. But the inspiration behind the song's name came from elsewhere. The song's lyrics were inspired by a 1976 picture of George Brett, a baseball great for the Kansas City Royals, signing autographs while wearing his uniform. The team's name splattered on his breast. The singer said, "It was just that word." It's truly remarkable. Poker Face, Lady Gaga. Although Lady Gaga's Poker Face is rife with sexual innuendo from the very first listen, it's not immediately apparent that the song details a particular sexual encounter Lady Gaga had. The singer claims that the song's lyrics describe a moment when she had fantasies about a woman while having a sexual relationship with a guy. The poker face reference was her way of expressing herself so that her partner would not know what she was thinking. Wake Me Up When September Ends, Green Day. The first verse of Green Day's Wake Me Up When September Ends is an homage to vocalist Billie Joe Armstrong's father, who passed away when the singer was 7. Nonetheless, many people still believe that the song has political overtones because it's the 11th track on the band's American Idiot album, which was greatly impacted by 9/11, and because of the video, which has an Iraq War theme. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon